Command& Conquer was a vital piece of my gaming upbringing. I was initially introduced to the series around 2008 with Command& Conquer Generals. My father and I would play local games in which he would completely destroy me over and over until I finally became good at this game. This was a true highlight of my childhood. The fact that my first win against my father only came due to us playing so late into the night that he fell asleep is something I still look past when we talk about it. Command& Conquer is a top-down real-time strategy game series, originally released in 1995 with Command& Conquer. This series has many iterations, including Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun, Command & Conquer Red Alert, a first-person shooter named Command & Conquer Renegade, the aforementioned Command & Conquer Generals, and the last full release Command & Conquer Generals 0 Hours. Of course, following this, there are some spin-offs and re-releases on mobile, as well as console, and re-releases from Steam and EA, which we'll get into later. This franchise consists of 11 core games and 8 DLC expansion packs. In this retrospective, we will be going over the plot and features of every major game in the series. I'll be splitting these games up by their plot points, so don't be surprised by the mixed up release dates and developers, as well as the graphics. That being said, sit back, grab a drink, and get ready to feel nostalgic about the Command & Conquer saga. Pre-note, before we get into this video, this series has 3 major categories, or subplots, that I will categorize as Tiberium, Red Alert, and Generals. The first game we will be going into is also the first game released in this series.
The Security Commission remains in closed session tonight following NOD terrorist actions in Slovenia.
At least your mother tipped well.
Harsh, unforgiving wilderness.
New Tiberium harvesting methods instituted by the Brotherhood of Nod increase profitability by 49%.
Nod Tiberium holdings now account for almost half of the world's known supply, giving the quasi-terrorist group incredible leverage in the London Gold Exchange. On the domestic side,
Cover of Tiberium ignored reporters at Hong Kong's Second World Tiberium Economic Impact Summit. Mobius is expected to refute charges from the scientific community that Tiberium might be dangerous.
بني مع اللون الأصفر.
As the GDI forces take off in another Nod assault, the free world holds its breath. This is Greg Burdett, WWN, somewhere in the Mediterranean.
Are you picking this up? Deactivate your defense matrix.
Global Defense Initiative selected.
The original game released in the series, given its namesake, Command & Conquer, was released in September of 1995 by Westwood Studios. This game being considered by many Westwood's biggest success compared to any of its previous game titles, such as Dune 2, was a major player in the goal to popularize the real-time strategy genre. This game takes place in the near future, considering when the game was released, around 2017 and 2020. The main plot of the game pits the factions of the Global Defense Initiative, or GDI, and the Brotherhood of Nod against each other, with the GDI acting as a NATO of sorts, and the Brotherhood acting more as a rebel terrorist coalition. The two factions are fighting over a material called Tiberium. Tiberium will be a main staple of this subgenre, hence the name of this subgenre being called Tiberium. Over the course of the series, you'll see Tiberium be evolving and becoming a more main plot point in the series. The Brotherhood, wanting to use its power, that being of Tiberium, for its own goals, and the GDI is wanting to prevent the Brotherhood from obtaining it and being able to spread their terroristic goals even farther. This game was well received by the gaming community and was giving a 94% on Metacritic. As far as my own personal experience with this game, I did not play it much growing up, but I have played several hours and completed the campaign. It is not my style of top-down strategy. Might be just because the graphics and controls are a little clunky, but it is still worth the try. This game does have a good storyline, and all of the cutscenes in this game are kind of a mix of what you would see in the original tabletop style Fallout games, the isometrics Fallout games, and obviously live action, which is a real cool thing to see.
This is Commander Tau reporting. A number of enemy craft are hitting us all over the place. They caught us by surprise. We're severely outnumbered. All GDI forces have been destroyed. Repeat, send reinforcements right away.
God damn it. Makes no sense. Hot spots everywhere. And why Southwest Sector 9?
Someone's jamming the secure channel, sir.
You'll come for the sunshine, but stay for the people.
What the hell is this? It's not possible. Punch up the main screen.
If I am cut, do I not bleed? It would be a sad error in judgment, General Solomon, to mistake me for a corpse.
My judgment is sound, Kane. And I'm not afraid of ghosts or you.
Perhaps you should be. I've seen the future. Our Tiberian future. And as you watch this battle just beginning to unfold, I've already seen the final act. It is my destiny to lead the way for all mankind.
Mankind has forgotten you, Kane.
Signal, sir. He's in the southwest.
Get me McNeil.
Recon, what's the intel up ahead?
Chandra, you son of a bitch.
Solomon needs you. Kodiak's waiting.
General Solomon on Secure Channel 4.
Good to see you again, Mac. I wish it were under better circumstances.
It's a light show, all right.
It's more than that. It's Kane.
Sir?
We lost contact with Phoenix at 0800 Zulu. I'm not losing that base, Mac. I'll give you a squad of our best jump troopers to clear the way for your arrival. Good luck, Commander.
The game's afoot. Let's kick some ass.
Next up in the Tiberium subplot of games, Tiberian Sun followed 4 years after the original Command & Conquer in August of 1999. This game is set in the year 2030 and was an evolution of the plot of the original, switching from a world politics allegory to a more science fiction style, due to the substance named Tiberium beginning to become a bigger set piece that affects the world and its ecosystem, causing the game to have more of an apocalyptic feel to it. The game itself began to blaze new paths in its top-down real-time strategy game genre by introducing an isometric game engine with 3D-style terrain. Its cutscenes were also expanded upon, giving it a more cinematic feel, making the games feel more consequential as you play. Around the same time this game was finishing development in 1998, Electronic Arts, also known as EA, acquired Westwood Studios. EA did not have a direct impact on the development of Tiberian Sun, but you will see in the next coming games, EA's influence takes up more of a role. This game performed almost as good as the original with a 92% on Metacritic. Command&Conquer Renegade was released in February of 2002, and the plot takes place in the final days of the original Command&Conquer. This game was also the final release that Westwood Studios would develop before they were liquidated in 2003. Renegade was a completely new approach to the lore of Command&Conquer, taking a more first-person approach to the plot as you see. That's correct. Renegade is a first-person shooter. The only one out of this whole series, with strategy in regards to building a base and commanding troops, taking a backseat to the plot of fighting the Brotherhood of Nod as one main character, Havoc. You are tasked with taking on the Brotherhood and rescuing other GDI commandos. The plot of this game truly deserves its own video, so if that's something you would like to see, leave a comment below. While single-player content in this game is not widely loved, only receiving a 75% on Metacritic, the game was truly carried by its online features and even has a third-party release on EA, for those who still love to play competitively on this title. My own experience with this game is me grinding multiplayer, but with bots. There are many multiplayer maps in this game that you can play in a test-style game mode with bots. And since at the time I didn't have internet, I would play against bots for hours. While this game didn't necessarily appeal to me as much as Command & Conquer Generals did when I was a kid, I still remember putting many hours into this game, and I still play it today.
Philadelphia uplink successful. Welcome back, Commander. Today's threat level is low. The state of the planet is deteriorating. Tiberium infestation has reached critical levels. Red zones have suffered the worst contamination and cannot support human life. Yellow zones are dangerously contaminated, but contain most of the world's population. Decades of war and civil unrest have left these regions in a state of social collapse. The Brotherhood of Nod operates virtually unchallenged in these zones. They take advantage of the chaos to recruit members and disguise their military infrastructure. Nod's leader is a charismatic figure we know only as Kane. Kane is determined to accelerate the spread of Tiberium, believing it is the catalyst for the next stage of human evolution. However, in recent years, the Brotherhood has been suspiciously quiet, with little terrorist activity. The remainder of the Earth's surface is unscarred by Tiberium outbreak. These blue zones are considered the last refuge and hope of the civilized world, and are under the protection of the Global Defense Initiative. You have been assigned command of the GDI forces stationed on the eastern seaboard of the United States. Good luck, Commander.
Commander, General Jack Granger, good to have you on board. These are interesting times. I I don't know if you know it, but INOPS has downgraded Nod's threat level to low. With Kane apparently dead, Nod's been fractured by internal power struggles. Recruitment's down 25%, and they've abandoned 4 bases in the last year. The prediction is another decade of peace. I say it's the calm before the storm. For 28 years of fighting Nod, there's one thing I can say with absolute certainty. As long as there's Tiberium on Earth, Nod is a serious threat. If our intel says otherwise, it's because Nod wants us to take them off our radar. That's why I want you to go to North Carolina. Zone security stop would look like a produce delivery truck yesterday, but it turned out to be a Nod vehicle. Before it could be searched, the driver blew it up, himself along with it. I want you to take some troops down there, see what you can turn up. Hopefully I'm wrong and this is just a false alarm. But if I'm right, be prepared for the worst. This is Lieutenant Sandra Telfair. She's from INOPS. She'll give you all the details of the mission. Lieutenant?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commander. Glad to be of service. Here's what we know so far. After the delivery truck incident, we turned Sky Sentry onto the area. And bingo, we located a high-output sub-Terra energy grid in the middle of nowhere. Obviously, Nod's up to no good. Your ace in the hole is an old base we have there. Bring it back online and you can recon the entire area. My advice is to engage the enemy only if necessary. No telling what those maniacs are hiding down there. Good luck, Commander. I'm here if you need me.
Released in March of 2007, Tiberian Wars was the return to the real-time strategy style gameplay. This being a direct sequel to Tiberian Sun and the third of the original 4 series minus Renegade, this game is set in 2047 with now 3 factions fighting over the resource that is known as Tiberium. The third faction in this new release is called the Skrin, an alien race who wants to interject in this conflict and take Tiberium for themselves. This third faction also brings the series even farther into the science fiction genre of real-time strategy, and in my opinion, makes the game feel more like StarCraft. I'm not saying that as a bad thing, but you can really see the comparison of the two following this game's release. This game was very well accepted by the gaming community, receiving an 85% on Metacritic. When I played this game, I actually enjoyed the more arcadey feel to it, and almost felt inconsequential how bad you were at this game. This is a very forgiving Command & Conquer game compared to games that come later in the series.
Brothers, sisters, I have a proposition.
final game in the Tiberium subplot, Tiberium Twilight. That's a tongue twister. Tiberium Twilight was released in March of 2010. This game was another evolution of the story. The Scrin faction was removed, and the story was an expansion from the DLC of Tiberium Wars named Kane's Wrath. The story takes place in 2062, with Tiberium rapidly spreading and evolving across the Earth, making it soon to be inhabitable. This game received a favorable 82% on Metacritic and will be the last of the Tiberium series. This subseries of Command & Conquer games took place over 5 games, having multiple DLCs over the course of 15 years. All of these games are remastered and released on EA's game launcher in a game pack in 2014. EA also released the source code of these releases, which has allowed a small but passionate fan base to mod and improve the games. So feel free to download and try this sub-series of games.
Stop playing with that thing. I've just got to adjust this. Give me the sequence calculations. Now! They're already done.
I wonder if it will be raining.
Stand by. Herr Hitler!
Ja, was ist los? Ich habe keine Zeit, hier rumzustehen.
Ja, ich verstehe. Did you find him?
Hitler is out of the way.
Congratulations, Professor. With Hitler removed...
Time will tell. Sooner or later. Time will tell.
We proudly interrupt this gaming analysis for an absolute banger of a game intro. Now we travel back in time to November of 1996, when the first game in the Red Alert series is released. This game was developed by Westwood Studios, set in the 1950s of an alternate universe shortly after World War II. The Allies, or NATO, are pitted against the Warsaw Pact, or the Soviet Union, in a Cold War gone hot. In this game, the Soviets and the Allies are battling over the European mainland. This series was actually intended to become a prequel of the Tiberium series, but as you'll quickly see, this didn't quite happen, as they went on a new approach for a completely different subplot. Red Alert and the rest of this series is highly regarded for its online competitive play and its single-player story building. This game was widely viewed as a success, with a whopping 90% on Metacritic, and it will bring forth a whole new subseries to this gaming genre.
Mr. President, it's General Carville at the Pentagon on Line 5.
This is Dugan.
Mr. President, I'm afraid we have a heck of a situation down here.
How bad could it be, Ben?
According to NORAD, we've got Soviet aircraft coming at us from all directions and ground troops pushing up through Mexico. I don't know how they snuck in on us.
You better double-check this with NORAD. This doesn't make any sense. I'll call the Kremlin.
Will do.
Da, Premier Romanov here.
What's going on over there, Alex?
Why, Mr. President, whatever do you mean?
Alex, I have, You're throwing everything you've got at us, Alex. We're supposed to be allies, you maniac. I'm the one that put you into office.
Listen very carefully. I am not your pet, Mr. President. We Romanovs have our legacy to consider.
I don't give a wooden nickel about your legacy. You call them off. Alex, you call them off. You know, we'll retaliate.
Oh, don't be so sure, Mr. President.
Sir.
Verification?
You betcha.
Sweet mother. It's time to hit back. Make it happen.
Yes, sir. This is General Carville. Soviet invasion confirmed. Execute launch order 010 Adam Delta Charlie.
Have confirmation. Missiles prime.
Armed.
Missile command.
10 seconds to launch. Open the missile silos. Jerry, what? We have to open the silos or they'll explode under... The silo doors are closed. This is suicide.
Is it done, Yuri?
No, Comrade Premier. It has only begun.
On October 23rd, the year 2000, the second title of the Red Alert series came to be released. As a result of the failure of the first Red Alert to establish itself as the prequel of the Tiberian series, this game takes its story to a different direction. The USSR now attacking the United States, becoming the main storyline. This game also starts to take a more fantasy-style approach to the Command & Conquer lore, with Red Alert 2 being about a time travel experiment taking place which diverts before the Tiberian series is told. The actual characters take a less realistic approach with troops such as the giant squid, which is a deterrent to ships. This game's main antagonist becomes even more prevalent, with its own DLC, Yuri's Revenge, the most popular DLC in all of the Command & Conquer series. While not as popular as the first Red Alert, this game will still be seen to be popular with a successful 86% on Metacritic. In my opinion, Red Alert 2 is one of my favorite non-Generals games. Yuri is a fantastic antagonist, and his mind control powers are really a great addition to the storyline. Though it does take a more fantastical, fantasized approach to Command & Conquer, whereas I do prefer the General's more realistic style, commanding troops and building a base in a realistic setting.
The Premier is gone. Yes, the coward has already fled. The USSR is at death's door, comrade. Which is why we must hurry. Sir, I beg you, please. What is this? Some sort of escape route? No, sir. 12 months ago, I was put in charge of a top-secret project. Whatever it is too late. With respect, General, you are wrong. Please. For you see, sir, time is on our side.
No, it isn't ready. It hasn't been tested. We don't even know if it works.
If what works?
My time machine.
Prepare these coordinates.
No, please.
Now!
Sir, no, please, no. Please, honey.
Get in!
All right.
You cannot be serious. Come, Comrade General. A new world order awaits. Come!
No, touch nothing. We mustn't do anything to disrupt space-time continuum.
Where are we? Brussels, 1927. 1927. The Solvay International Physics Conference.
Is that Einstein?
Yes, Doctor. The man most responsible for our enemy's technological superiority. The man who made them invincible.
What do you plan to do?
Gentlemen? Doctor!
No!
I do not understand.
We have altered the past and changed the present.
Ah, good to see you, sir. I have the reports from the front that you requested.
Thank you. What do you have for me?
I'm sorry, Comrade General. I meant Premier Cherdenko. Sir, the Allies are on the run soon. Western Europe will be ours.
You hear that, General? Our enemies have been defeated.
Hold on, sir. I'm receiving an emergency transmission from our northern base.
They're attacking! There are too many! We have to evacuate!
Who is attacking?
The Imperial war machine has been unleashed. Do not struggle against what is inevitable. All who stand in the way of our divine destiny will be swept away by the march of history. You will bow before us, or you will cease to exist.
Sir, it appears that the Empire has mounted a full-scale assault.
What Empire?
The Empire of the Rising Sun, of course.
We now have 2 mortal enemies?
We must unleash our nuclear weapons. Annihilate them all.
Excuse me, General?
Our nuclear weapons? Our atomic bombs?
Don't you understand? Without Einstein, there is no nuclear weapons because we have altered the space-time continuum. Oh, who knows what nightmares we have created.
A whole 8 years later, in October of 2008, Red Alert 3 is shipped out. This game is a continuation of the second installment of the series, but with a more lighthearted and less serious take on Command & Conquer. There are more comical units, or troops, in this game, and a whole new faction, the Empire of the Rising Sun, which is an anime, kaiju, more cartoony style version of the Japanese Empire. The producer of the game told the world that the third game was intentionally made to be more silly. This game did have an effect on its Metacritic score, bringing it down to 82%. This would also be the final iteration of this beloved series. You can play all the Red Alert series on iOS as of 2009, and console remakes are available on Xbox and PlayStation. When I played this game, I didn't even know that it was a Command & Conquer game if I didn't read the title. It is a whole different feel. It's still kind of fun, but if you're a die-hard Command & Conquer fan, you could probably leave this one out. It has no tie-in to the other 2 Red Alert games, and it doesn't quite feel like it's supposed to be taken seriously, as the developer had previously said.
EA Games. Challenge everything.
In the modern world, great leaders resolve their conflicts with words. Dead launcher. Carbon bombing. Tomahawk missile.
Command & Conquer Generals released on February 10th, 2003. This series has a completely separate plotline to both the Red Alert and Tiberium series. This game is set in the near future and has 3 factions: the USA, China, and a fictional terrorist group called the Global Liberation Army, or GLA. This game's storyline consists of a style of friendly coalition between the US and China for most of the game, fighting against the GLA. It's kind of in a the enemy of my enemy is my friend situation. Using the Strategy Action Game Engine, or SAGE, Generals was the first 3D game of the series, besides Renegade, but that doesn't count due to being a first-person shooter, right? The online capabilities and features make a great leap from the Tiberium series, which helped make the game get viewed positively, with an 84% on Metacritic. As my introduction to the series of Command & Conquer, Generals holds a near and dear spot into my heart. Sometimes I load up my PC and play scrimmages for hours on end to this day.
Terrorist base destroyed by American forces while defending
Our
civilians.
victorious forces continue their liberation
Against a struggling America and China reporting
in
several
today's Security Council session.
Tensions are high. Senseless American aggression once more fills the
Our
sky.
premier again denied involvement with
The military had the fragmented Global Liberation Army on the run. Groups vying for control. The American response is its signature shock and awe campaign.
China is here to help our European comrades.
The United States believes that a general, codenamed Dr. Threats, is running the lethal program. Humiliating America by penetrating its own borders and raiding its weapons of mass destruction. Further transmission may be difficult.
Though this is considered an expansion of Command & Conquer Generals, some people consider its own game, as well as their favorite. Only 8 months after the original Generals was released, 0 Hours came out September of 2003. 0 Hour brings 9 new armies, 3 separate generals for the 3 different factions, the US, China, and the GLA, with their own characteristics and fighting styles, bringing a huge deal of replayability to the missions. You could be playing as the Chinese officer who loves using tanks. You could be playing as the US Air Force general who loves planes, or the GLA general who loves stealth and you can get behind enemy lines. All of this adds up to making it feel like a whole different game compared to the original Generals. A big issue some people had with the original Generals is the lack of cutscenes in the story mode. Cutscenes return with Generals introductions, as well as cutscenes between missions. Mostly live action cutscenes, to be exact. EA has most recently released Command & Conquer Rivals for iOS and Android in December of 2018, an RTS mobile game with no real story mode. It's kind of like Clash Royale. And in my opinion, this doesn't really classify it as a Command & Conquer game by anything other than title. In March of 2024, EA released Command & Conquer The Ultimate Collection on Steam and the EA Launcher, which added level editors and any available remastered versions of the previous Command & Conquer games. So give that a look if you want to play in any of the games for yourself. As it appears right now, EA does not have any further plans to release another full-fledged Command & Conquer game in the near future, which is unfortunate because this franchise deserves another game, as well as a whole new generation of players to experience it. If this franchise interests you, feel free to leave a comment and let me know that you want to watch a playthrough, and tell me which game that interests you most. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I've been Twisted Jonathan, and I will see you again soon.
Fresh mellow Moab in the morning. you are victorious.